you're just making, especially about the picks, right? When should you really experiment? I remember Vanir in the beginning of the split were a bit more experimental, especially down in that bot lane. They didn't stick to the stock standard bot lane of a tank, engage support, and a hyper carry scaling AD carry, which I really like seeing Chris pick on. They went for the Lucian army time and time again when it clearly didn't work out. They lost quite a few games on that, and when they started going towards this more traditional bot lane style, it has worked out better for them, and I'm happy for that change. It's one that I wanted to see from Vanir, and have, now that they've made it, I feel way more confident in predicting them as victors.
Particularly when I think that Lingui just gets such a staple pick for himself, right? He has played so far. This is going to be his 7th game of Gnar in the NLC. Obviously, all the other champs combined tally up to about 5, right? So it's not even close. And there are like 4 other champions in that pool. This is pure comfort for Vanir. If they can use this Sejuani Nautilus combo down on that bot side, there's a Renata sitting there who is going to be exceptionally squishy. Just because she's got a second life doesn't mean that she gets to utilize it all that much. That second health bar might not be too important if it's a 3v2 and your early game Sivir isn't fully off to the races. You can already see with Ploxy on this top side, will be down in that bot lane fairly soon. So if Nativz aren't careful with their wave management, Ploxy could get down there. A hook from touch is all they'll need to start the ball and potentially find an early kill.
A positive thing for Nativz about that is that they should know where Ploxy is heading. Having had vision on him from his first camp, they should know. They know he's starting topside. They just see the pings come through, so they know where he'll be walking towards. They need to be able to play around this. Otherwise, as you say, they could be in deep trouble. Sebal starting on that top side as well should be able to move down towards the bot side and somewhat match Ploxy.
I'm interested for what I see from Sebal because there's a couple like just really interesting gank or pathing routes that you can take, and this is one of them. Started on his own Raptors, he's going to delay his red buff, give him a little more dueling power through this early stage, just because you're not wasting the time of the red buff clearing your own camps. And if you can get out of your top side, out of your red side, at the same time the enemy jungle's getting out of their blue side, you're onto a pretty good track, just because those Krugs can take a very long time to go down. A little bit behind the necessary Lilia curve, but it's a good window now for Sebal to match a gank in that bot side. You can already see Nativz have their lane in a slightly precarious position. It's looking a lot better for a Ploxy gank than it is for a Sebal gank, but as long as there's a counter there, a 3v3 on this bot side might just end up looking fairly tepid.
Yeah, Touch clearing out some vision of his own as well. I do believe he has not put down a ward though, so there is still the possibility of Sebal finding a way in, as they are both, rather not actually. Sebal is not on his last camp, he still has the blue to go, as Ploxy is on the Krug, so he's definitely ahead in terms of the jungling pace, and I do believe Dredgefly was just used down on the bot lane, but didn't seem to be able to connect on anyone, as it is now Vanir pushing out that bottom wave.
Yeah, I mean, I guess I'm just wrong. Ploxy farming up fast enough, has priority from his bot lane, means that they secure this Scuttle Crab as well. So a really good early start for Vanir, making sure that their bot lane is safe. They don't necessarily find any kills in the bot lane just yet, but they've still got plenty of time for that to happen. And they might look to cross into the top side jungle here. They don't have control over that top wave, which I think is what's led Ploxy to heading back to base as opposed to crossing into the top side and trying to find that double crab onto Sebal. So overall, a fairly neutral start to this game so far. And if we look into the big picture, who does that favour? Well, I'm always going to give it to Vanir. Oh,
yeah, I mean, stuff is definitely happening. First one already taken, but here comes a return kill for Nativz as Sebal finds one. Remix still battling out in this bot lane. Very low on HP, needs to be careful. The minion blocks can definitely be felt. Has the flash, has a good spell shield though. Might try and turn this around, but unable to, as the damage just not quite there. An explosive couple of fights. Now Sebal just dies to the turret.
Yeah, the Observer doing us a favour there. We don't need to see what
I don't think we wanted to see.
Okay, so 1-0 in the bot lane, and that was 2 versus 2, and then a gank in the mid lane from Sebal to find the kill onto Luca. So a good now position for Scuffed to be in. Has that first assist goal, not quite first blood, obviously, as that went down in the bot side, but an opportunity to snowball a little on this LeBlanc. You're slowing down the Victor scaling as well, and going for the Ignite on or as Scuffed, you want to find those early kills. Actually going to be a little disappointed maybe that Seaball's the one that finds it. Nevertheless, the kill was found all the same. Gets to go back to mid lane with a huge wave under his turret. It's not by any means the end of the world that Seaball doesn't find it. And now with that lead, presumably in experience, should be okay. Shout out Remix, not window shopping, waiting for the base to reset.
I was wondering that as well. I saw it on the minimap and thought I would definitely die in this scenario. In the end, though, I'm not Remix. He's definitely better than me, so he's able to play that just that tiny bit better. It's a very nice spell shield, gets him out efficiently. It has been a chaotic early game, I think that is fair to say, but pace still seems pretty high here as they're constantly pushing up in each other's lane, looking for the plates, looking to build some leads.
And as I was mentioning, right, we're just about to get into the discussion of our late game scaling, but for Vanir, again, it goes their way. Their ease of execution, which is something you'd highlighted in the draft, Duckling, is a lot lower, right? Or a lot higher, excuse me, in terms of how easy it is for them. They run in with Ploxy, Lingui Touch, and they allow Chrisberg and Luca to do damage. Where Natives have to have 5 people playing their champions perfectly in order to, come out on top in these team fights, it feels like. So we're looking at Vanir to have that ease in the late game, make it a lot safer, at least, as a transition into that late game stage, where Natives have the onus of execution in these early stages to get a lead and find an advantage.
Yeah, it's definitely putting the pressure on themselves. It's another good spell shield down in the spot lane. Keeps Remix safe. A lot of these small trades are happening, as the Drake seems to be the target. It was initially started up by Vanir, but they backed off, didn't want to fight for it. Now Nativz, though,
this is risky.
They seem to be down for the fight. 3k and dropping. Smite available for both junglers. Level 6 for Seabell, though. No level 6 for Ploxy. Blue misses the handshake. The Drake will simply be secured, and there will be no fight around it.
Yeah, Vanir actually helps do Drakes incredibly quickly just with that auto-attack passive. So a nice window found from the native jungler to get an objective in their favour. And now can go back to base. Look at the timer on that Drake take as well. 7.5 minutes means you can go back up to that top side, refocus your attentions, and try and get a Rift Herald as well. You get both early game neutral objectives. It is that early game that you're looking for as a composition that we're hoping can find some snowball.
Explosive trade up here in the top side, but Lingui able to just spoot our way as a lot of trading continues to happen, and it might turn into more fighting soon with that Rift Herald now spawning on the map as well.
Just in level 6 actually for Ploxy. I was looking at the timer, right? Level 5 at 8 minutes, potentially a little bit behind the curve, more than I would have hoped for. But this is that rotation up to that top side, right? They got the Drake in the bot lane, everybody resets, heads back out toward this top side. But there is a Scuttle Crab down, and now Natives, they've got to, it's face checking when they've... Oh, okay. He's fine. He got the Arctic Assault scuffed, misses unfortunately the blind Q over the wall. Sweeper from Ploxy. Actually does a good job.
I mean, he had a very bad trade up there against Spooder. Not quite sure what happened, but it should be enough for Scuffly to just jump in, get the secure kill, and that's your first kill on the mid. And you mentioned this earlier, Ruth. They wanted kills on Scuffed early on, and that's a great way to start yourself off.
Are they going to try and transition this into more, though? The Herald would obviously be nice. They found a kill. Let's see if they can find an objective off the back of that. And I'm looking at the minimap right now. Ploxy's moving his way into that bot side jungle. It looks like Vanir is setting up for a play in the bot lane, when Native haven't actually found anything on this top side. They found that one kill, but haven't turned that into an objective at all. Looks like it's just going to be camps stolen away, where Vanir actually got all of their camps that they wanted on that top side. Yes, it's the one kill, but the extending of the kill into more just wasn't present for Natives.
Yeah, when you're an O-level team, these are the things that I'm expecting to see, right? You're getting some good stuff down, but it's never really expanding into you're getting a full meal. You're mainly getting a side dish, or maybe you're getting a main dish, but you're not getting the sides. Then it's you're able to get some of the things, but you're not quite able to get the full menu. Yeah,
what we want from them is to have taken that Rift Herald, or at least taken all of those topside camps. There were a lot of windows for Native to have extended this lead a little further. But it's Vanir who are now looking in this mid lane. Scuff's W times out.
Scuffed, yeah, he miscalculated that, and he will be punished by losing his flash. a massive cooldown gone just due to some poor miscalculation there.
Yeah, I mean, miscalculation, misexecution, the chain goes wide, and all of a sudden your trading habits are just gone, unfortunately. So it's Vanir who are able to take this Rift Herald with the roam up from touch from the bot lane, and Baloo now escorting the bot lane wave in. It buys Remix a base, one that he is able to take, but he's not got the mythic yet. Chrisberg went back to base, finished off a full Gale Force. In comparison, Remix sitting in base is, yeah, got nothing. Didn't get that mythic finished, and now the Xayah heads into a laning phase with an item advantage.
Yeah, it's definitely something Vanir are happy about. They do have a slight goal lead. They were behind for a couple periods of this game. Obviously not a massive amount, but the goal lead that Vanir now have will continue to grow us in this mid lane. Luca has been slowly chipping away at the plates, getting the help of the Herald. It means 3 plates have now been taken here compared to absolutely none from the side of Nativz.
So like we said, Nativz with the burden of execution, they've not executed just yet. There's still a window for them to do so. Normally I tend to say the first big team fight, you have until that window, and if you can execute better in that team fight and find a lead from there, then you're still in good footing. But at the minute, Nativz are just biding their time a little bit too long for my own liking. The longer they wait, the harder that first team fight gets, and the more difficult they're going to find it to find their first win of the season. Vanir are quite happy to play this game nice and slowly, and with the one small mistake that Scuffed made, they're even feeling comfortable, like we've seen, to put that Herald down in the mid lane, put this Victor very far in the lead in that 1v1. Both of our mid laners actually went for tier 2 boots first, so delaying their mythics quite substantially. But it's a Rod of Ages build for Luca. Just that extra bit of HP on the Victor, it's going to make him again incredibly difficult to take down in a side lane later on for Scuffed.
And talking about the side lanes, one might be in trouble as the rotation is coming through from Nativz. Yet another good trade from Spooder, but the turret will make it a 1-for-1. It is yet again Nativz getting something but losing more as they lose plays in the mid lane as well.
And I was going to say, if we take a look at Luca, pushes that wave in instantly, has got that laser upgrade, isn't bound by the early game Victor wave clear anymore, and can force these plates, has taken a 4th one for the mid lane Victor right now. And if he can find that 5th, obviously going to be feeling very confident. The Drake taken as well for Vanir. It is a Chemtech pre-soul, which is very nice for our teams to see. Means that we get a soul that has at least some agency and some bearing on how the game gets played out. A Mountain Soul, again, if this goes to Vanir, is going to be exceedingly powerful because they're going to get at the very minimum 3 Drakes, which on the front lines are going to be exceptionally good at boosting up those stats. But also it means that this composition that pokes heavily from Nativz has to go through that extra shield before they're doing any damage that sticks.
The fact that even if Lingui didn't manage to get a kill back there, this would still have been a win overall for Vanir, shows how hard that situation really was for Nativz. Losing a Drake, losing a couple more plates, and only getting that 1-for-1 up in the top side is not a situation Nativz wanted to find themselves in, as they're the one pulling the trigger, but they're the one losing the full-on fight as well. If we look at the broad perspective, which is just such a deflating feeling for this team who's still looking for that first victory, delaying a couple mythics. As you said, the tier 2 boots Scuffed behind as well over Luca, who hasn't gotten any kills or assists perhaps, but he has gotten 4 plates in the mid.
Yeah, it's gonna be way up in gold, just in terms of the farm that we can see the plates as well. Yeah, they're actually fairly even. You know, the 2 kills, I was expecting those to not quite be as impactful. Those plates must have been split, right, with the Rift Herald. Spooder's dead on this top side, so
yeah, he's very dead. Able to do a bit of damage back, but not enough for Scuffed to really come in and get the kill, as a good gank there from Vanir.
And once again, Scuffed roams out of his mid lane. A plate goes down. Unfortunately, there are no more plates after this one. Luca likely going to be able to, there we go, take the first turret in the mid lane. Opens up now Vanir to the rest of the native jungle. And again, just these early game plays from Nativz, not quite fully fleshed out. Not quite working in their favour. And this time when Scuffed goes up to the top side, there's a spare jungler waiting for Vanir. It's the first time we've really seen Ploxy there, but boy oh boy is it impactful.
Oh, and Sebal now might be the one caught out touch with the depth charge as well. You can't flash away from that. It's even underneath the turret. Sebal will just fall. It is a situation that keeps going from bad to worse as they just want to get something back. Should likely find Lingui here. It is going to be taken down by Baloo, but now he's the one with the second chance to get back alive, but he won't be able to redeem himself as 2 fall into the hands of Lucas Scuffed. trades back on touch, but it's still a fight that Nativz is losing. It is Luca and Vanir who are winning.
3-0-1 on this LeBlanc. Scuffed probably just walks it out. There's a very strong chance that Vanir just like, yeah, we don't want to chase the LeBlanc. This time, though, potentially things going their way. Ploxy.
Looking to catch on to Scuff. Luca is rotating down as well. I mean, Scuff could look towards the mid lane and get help of Remix, but now, though, with the TP in as well, Lingui will be zoning off from that one. I mean, he's trapped between a rock and a hard place. He can only jump
ulti.
in the wrong direction. As you say, he does have ulti, so I guess he's out. As the Magician finds his way out. It's nice, but it's just the consolation prize in the fight, it feels.
It's not like this LeBlanc has a shutdown, and that speaks to how poorly this game's actually going for Nativz. A really good hostile takeover comes through, and you just start to think, maybe if touch goes down there, we can see Baloo revive and use those spells to keep the scene alive a little bit longer. Not the case, though. Scuffed, again, not quite landing with those ethereal chains, and it delays the kill by long enough to mean that Baloo goes down, and it just gives this sticky situation for Nativz that just keeps getting worse. They're now 2,500 gold down up against the composition that team fights exceptionally well come that late game stage. Luca almost finishing the Archangels on that reset as well. So once this 2-item Victor comes to life, he's going to be exceedingly safe, as already 2.2 thousand health in his pool, which is a lot for Scuffed to try and get through. Recognizing that, has opted into the Liandry's. It's double Liandry's for the mages so far for Nativz, and honestly, they're going to need it because the Vanir squad, they got a lot of health to go around.
Yeah, I really do agree with you, because it's very much, yes, Nativz are almost getting an even fight, or maybe they're the one winning a fight actually by getting one more kill on their opponent, but across the map they're just being stretched a bit too thin and losing slight margins here and there, because every time they take a fight, even if that fight turns into 1-for-1, they get further and further behind. At the beginning it was 400 gold, as you said, 2.3 or 4, whatever, just 30 seconds ago. After a couple more fights, which were somewhat even, it is the neutral objective, it is the extra plates, it is the turrets that Vanir are able to get extra. That just builds this lead. This fight, though, is a kill back for Nativz. It is onto the hands of Baloo, so it's not the right target, but it's more gold to Nativz.
And it's more than just the kill here, Duckling. There should be a dragon secure for them as well. Hoping that they can transition this into that objective, as we see Scuff moving down from that top side. Wasn't able to take the turret. Remember, no TP on this LeBlanc, so you can't have that cross-map pressure. But with one target down, and that's the target with all of the wards, all of the setup as well, Vanir can't face-check this. Nativz, led by their jungler here, taking down the dragon and putting at least a slowdown on how fast this game was getting out of their way.
Oh, I mean, Scuff is looking for more. Crispberg forced to Gale Force away. No Summoners burned. And is able to get out. Yeah. No ulti either. Yeah, Crispberg, certain enough that there wasn't enough damage on Scuff to take him down. And in the meantime, Luca rotated up towards the top and used the Chaos Storm to clear the wave quicker so he can get himself another turret. So this time around, though, it is still a better trade for Nativz, getting a kill and the Drake, but they're still losing something. Vanir just keep getting something back every time Nativz say, now we're the ones making a move. Many are making so many great counter moves to counteract the leads that Nativz are trying to build.
And it is just good, honest League of Legends. You're making a play on one side of the map, I will make a play on the other side. Vanir understanding their fundamentals and getting advantages from it, or at the very least, stopping the advantages being astronomical from Nativz. Remember I said it's that first team fight that is the sort of cut-off point, right? If we see Vanir take that first big-scale team fight, I really start to worry for Nativz. At the minute, I'm not too worried just yet, because if they execute on that 5v5 well, there's a very real possibility that Nativz can find a win in this game. They have range, and range is king when it comes to late-game team fightings. If they can play around it well enough, set up some wards, set up the vision so that they can't get flanked by Touch, Linguine, or Ploxy, those three members with Engage, then I'm very great. Then I'm actually kind of hopeful for how well Nativz will be able to play out these team fights. But it is that execution barrier which we've seen just lacking from them so far.
Wow. I mean, Scuff just a snow damage. Luca, you mentioned 2000 HP was going to be a lot to cut through. Luca has no problem cutting through the HP bar of Scuff, but Scuff hit double Q, W, E as well. He hit all his abilities, and it didn't do anything on Luca. He didn't even proc the shield. No, there isn't the shield on Serath yet, because it hasn't been upgraded, but it wasn't even have been needed. I mean, the mid lane difference is just so big there. as I guess we had.
This
Are
is
we
a
watching
replay.
Tenet?
I think it
I
goes.
think we're watching Tenet here.
Oh yeah, we are watching it go backwards. That's not what we want. We want it
There
to
we
go
go.
forwards. But look at the items quickly. This is 2-item Victor versus 1-item LeBlanc.
Oh no.
Just a fundamental misunderstanding of your power level, I feel like, if you're scuffed. This is a fight that you're very likely never going to win. And I'm, again, saddened by seeing this because it's these types of errors that are costing Nativz their games. You shouldn't be going for that period if you're scuffed. Was never a fight that you were going to win. Just a raw stat check tells you that, and unfortunately it just wasn't made. So it's great from Luca to be able to find the kill in response. It wasn't really a response, it was more of a sort of swatting a flyaway as opposed to an all-out brawl. But at the end of the day, the fact that Luca has that presence of mind to be able to find the kill is a reason why Vanir are challenging for the playoff spot.
And with the Baron now on the map, there is yet another reason to pull a 5v5 team fight. And it will not be something Nativz would likely win. At first, though, they have to clear the second Herald that is spawned down mid lane, taking down yet another turret, the fourth of the game for Vanir, as this goalie continues to slowly but surely just grow. And Vanir are feeling more and more comfortable. You can start seeing it in the items now as well. 2.5 items on Crispik, just 1.5 on Remix. In the mid lane as well, 1.5 items to 2.5 items. They're just that... I mean, on the carries, is actually quite far ahead now on the side of Vanir.
And we're looking then where it's not so far ahead for Nativz. That top lane matchup, we have got 2 items for Spuda. Not quite completed the Muramani yet, which would be that big boost to the Nativz damage profile. But working there as fast as possible, right? Looking to stack that tier up ASAP, go into the Cyrildas or whichever third item of choice you're going for. You tend to want those slows on the Jace with the Shock Blast just to be a little bit more of a nuisance. But we've still got this Drake now spawning 55 seconds away. Nativz, if obviously we talked about the benefits of if Vanir get this, if Nativz get this, it gives them the front line that they're missing.
Well, I mean, that's actually a good chain, but yet again, Crispik, very safe on those summoners, hasn't used anyone yet, and now it's the re-engage from the side of Vanir onto Spuda, but they're unable to take him down. Crispik dishing out good damage into Seabal. The Featherstorms come out as well. Seabal very low, but not gone. Spuda too far forward though, and he gets caught out. Lingui trying to chase down the other targets as...
Oh, so close.
It is scoffed, unable to assassinate Crispik. The Ignite is ticking though, and Crispik has to run his Remix. Finds another one. It is a close 5v5, not yet in the favor of Vanir. Crispik solo has to be careful. Flash available. With the Drake on the map, it looks to be secured by Nativz.
Oh, it's
Unless
not
something
secure.
happens, Luca. Still full HP. Nice block from Remix. Good damage back in the Drowsy as well. Lilting Lullaby. And good damage on the side of Remix. But it's unable to find Luca. On the other hand, though, Crispik falls. How does he fall with both summoners? Did Seabelth catch him out? I didn't see it. In the end, though, it is actually Nativz who wins the fight.
3 for 2, and then the Dragon. It was a double fight, really, there. We saw the 5v5, which was long and drawn out across multiple areas of that mid lane, and then a re-engaged 3v3 after the fact that Nativz come out on top of. The true battle for the Dragon goes their way. Now on Soul Point, we get a look at the initial engage, right? You look at that first start and we get to see the value of Renata versus Nautilus. 2 go forward and they immediately start hitting themselves because they can't get out of danger. Can't get out of that hostile takeover, and they start to wail away on one another. We've got more fighting though.
Yeah, more fighting. A Scoff, another one caught out, taken down. 40-second death time on him. Pings already on the Baron. Vanir, they want to move quickly here.
It looks like he was going for a play onto touch and just never got to move after he went for it. The CC chain between a Nautilus, a Sejuani, potentially a Victor there as well. Just too much. And now Remix, Spuda, and Seabal have got to do the miracle. 5 versus 4.
Seabell, no flash, but the Narcos wide. That's a very good hostile takeover, but instantly cleansed away by Crispik, who continues to be in the front line, dishing out good damage. Luca takes a bit of poke from Spuda, but no one else falls other than Lingui. But Nativz, they crucially stop the Baron.
And they can take first turret in the mid lane for themselves as well. They're going to be able to translate this into an objective, an overreach by Vanir. Really not recognizing the capabilities of this Nativz roster. They did get hostile takeover, but there's still a lilting lullaby for Seaball. The reason that Crispik's actually able to walk away without using flash or ult there is because it was on cooldown when that swirl seed hit. So a 1-for-1 in the long trade plus a turret for Nativz. They're giving what for? They're on Soul Point, and they're currently in a very strong position to take these fights, playing them well with the range, as we've highlighted. This composition can win team fights, presuming they play well. We've seen Scuffed get caught out a couple of times due to the CC of the Nautilus and the Sejuani. Maybe we see a late game pivot away from these Sorcerer Shoes into some Mercury Treads. But there have been very good tools from everywhere else.
Oh, I don't like where this game is going. Honestly, I love it. It's the nerves, it's the intensity of the game, as you say. Lilting Lullaby comes through. It is not what I expected when I saw the first 60 minutes. The lead was just continually building, but it has actually decreased over the past 5 minutes. We've seen Nativz be able to win the fight. And that's what you talked about, right? We needed to see the first 5v5 to really judge where this game was going, the chase. Not quite able to lock down Chrisberg. He's had those connected. A fight could have followed. No Drake on the map for 2.5 minutes. It's just Nativz fighting for control, fighting for more map pressure.
But they're not getting it, importantly, Duckling. If we look at the side lanes, it is completely Vanir dominant. Luca in one half of the map, Lingui in the other, and I'm so glad that we're looking at Luca right now. If we can, quickly pan back over, level 16 versus level 13 of Scuffed. It is not even close, the difference between these mid laners, and that 5 versus 5, if Luca's untouched, is going to go very well sided.
I mean, Lingui could just look for Scuffed here. Flash already for Scuffed will still go down in the 1v2. Lingui finds one. There is no Lilting Lullaby. Lingui, watch out, he doesn't hit the sweet spot, but should still be enough. Sebal securely takes down the kill, but no jungler now for Nativz because he's on the bot side. 10k HP, Baron is dropping. What can Verdant do about this?
They've got a little bit of time. Poke from Remix, poke from Spooder. The Baron will go, but can they find the fight after?
Yeah, hostile takeover comes through, only connects onto Luca. Touch low, but it doesn't really matter. It's eyes on Chrisberg, who takes down Baloo in an instant. And now they turn on Remix. In comes the flash. The Lilting Lullaby comes through, but the Feather Storm will keep Chrisberg safe, but only for a couple seconds more.
It's all Luca.
Now locked up. It is only him who can do something, but it's not enough. As Luca, as you say, just takes over the fight and wins that crucial one for Vanir.
He's level 17 with 3,500 HP and he's built 3 AP items. Really far ahead of the curve right now, and Luca cannot be stopped. Look at this team fight. There's no focus on him whatsoever. Flashing for the Lilting Lullaby from Seaball. Yes, they find the sleep onto the AD carry, but there's just no presence. The Victor, who's been left to free scale after that first initial gank in the mid lane, is absolutely terrorizing Nativz. Vanir walk away with the Baron on 3 members, a 1-team fight, and a very, very strong position to tie up the wins with Verdant.
Yeah, they tried to up the pace just a couple minutes ago. That time it didn't work out, but this time though, they saw the right opportunity. They wanted to speed up this game, and they successfully have 30 seconds now on what will be a soul for Nativz. It feels like there's another 5v5 on the horizon, but as Spooder TP's top lane, looks like Nativz might just want to give it up.
And I genuinely wouldn't be surprised. They can do very little at the minute, Nativz. It was always going to be that fine margin. Remember I was saying, like, until that first real fight, and I'd had like hope for Nativz. We've kind of elapsed that. My hope is slowly dwindling, and there is always the world where they find the perfect team fight where they're able to play their ranges beautifully, but I don't know how Luca ever really dies in this game without just incredible team fight potential, or without incredible team fight execution rather, from Nativz. Spooder's going to need to be out at range and then execute with the Jace. You're going to need sleeps to come through. There's all sorts of different lines that need to come together before Luca ever goes down. And that's imagining that he doesn't use any of his abilities back to kill people, plus stopwatch, plus flash for safety. Yeah, it's not
I
easy.
wholeheartedly agree with you. It's very hard to think of an easy scenario where you can kill Luca. The stopwatch there as well now. Still the Sarah shield, has the flash, has everything he needs, as he pretty much just goes untouched in the fights. And the thing is, if you spend all your time taking down Luca, well, then Chrisberg is still there to dish out the damage. So you have to focus him first. He's the easy one to kill. But it still takes so much time to kill Chrisberg that you die in the meantime by Luca. It feels like you have, it's just pick your poison. Which one do you want to kill? You can't kill them both. And now Nativz really feeling the pressure from Vanir.
Complete outer turret sweep secured, so all of the standing gold outside of the base now in Vanir's back pockets. That gold lead up to 6,000 at this point. And I thought they were looking for a play onto Ploxy. They're obviously recognising they cannot make that play happen. And now Vanir with the Baron worn off can go back to base, spend all of that gold, extend their item advantage even further, and then probably just look for that second Baron. Because that's the way they're going to have to close out this game, unfortunately. Without a Baron, trying to siege versus a Sivir just doesn't work. But they've got all of the gold to do it. It does mean that Nativz get one more chance, and probably two, genuinely, if all goes according to the Nativz plan. They can have this one team fight that goes their way at the Baron, and then they can hopefully try and find a window back into the game with the Mountain Soul on their hands. It's a far off juncture, but it's one that, you know, they can just barely see over the horizon.
It's one that they have to take, I think, for the side of Nativz. And if there's someone who I want to highlight at this moment for Nativz, it is Remix. He's having a quite good game, as I do have to stop myself there because Lingui caught out, taken down, watch out, Eep does connect, and
oh no,
he somehow still finds Scuffed.
Scuff doesn't have to die there, unfortunately. Lingui is in a position where he is 100% dead. I don't like that we've gone back in. I recognise you want the kill, but you're sacrificing a life in that position, which isn't what I'd like to see. It's not what you can do. Trading 1-for-1 when the enemy team is so far ahead typically is favourable for you, but it could have been so much better. Nevertheless, though, go on.
Yeah, we can see the point you were trying to make before about how it is hard for the side of Vanir to push while Remix is alive. And without the Baron, we just see him be able to clear out the wave. Ploxy has to stand up and try and soak some of the damage instead away from the minion wave. So Nativz still able to keep their base pretty much intact. Might lose a turret here because of the man disadvantage, but the work Sivir is putting in is absolutely massive at keeping this base standing.
1 minute now on that Baron. Vanir have done a great job at playing the two appropriate lanes. Lingui, I don't want to say overextending, but being the attention of Nativz just a little too much and has fallen in those side lanes. One of the things that I'd like to see from Lingui is just a little bit tighter of a sort of weak side play. We've got some very aggressive posturing from Nativz right now. They're trying to worm their way into this river to, at the very least, get a foothold in, try and find somewhere they can get vision.
Oh, Remix might be caught out. Beyond the Hunt has already popped. He's down to half HP as Lingui. Dishing out the damage. Seabell flashes forward. He connects, but not onto the important target. It's just the two tanks sleeping. But crying out loud as Lingui now go back forward. The double jump, unable to find anyone with the Nar Redemption. Heals up Native for quite a while as Luca stepping forward. No one falls. Baron on the map in 10 seconds.
But look at the ult he's used, right? All of the big ults from Nativz are down. On the Hunt, gone. Hostile takeover, gone. And here comes Lingui.
Oh, here comes Lingui. He finds 3. Baloo, gone. Spooder has to go in to the stopwatch as Scuffed finds 2 back. That is massive. And he's still out. He's still living. Flash away, but Luca will flash forward to secure the kill. And now it's only Remix standing to try and defend the base bravely against the charging in Vanir.
They're going to have to dive Remix. It's possible, decidedly. But this Nexus turret fortification is real. Sivir can do meaningful damage to those minions, even if it's just hitting onto Luca, onto Lingui. They're going to go for the end here. It's not easy.
Oh, the flash. It is nicely done. It is perfectly executed there. Making it look easy. It was 33 minutes, but Vanir did what they must. They will take down Nativz and keep the playoffs race alive.
Tied in wins, 6-6. Vanir now equal to their closest rivals in Verdant, putting the pressure on them for later on in the day. Final touches to the Nexus. The final touches to the K.